Lollipop. Of course, Sugar on the other side of things here for AVE. And was putting up a relatively decent performance in their earlier showing today. I just think that the IDIS balance can just be a force to be reckoned with. It'll be a while until we get to see that, but T-side AWPing, don't imagine that he's going to shy away from that one.
Oh, they're getting so aggressive straight up down mid, but welcome to the dualies land. He's got himself only one. It's actually Sugars and Waterfalls. To make it look like I might have done more than that. Waterfalls and the fadeaways caught out Jo as well, and IDIS balance all alone will be falling. Technically a multi-kill coming out from the dualies. 2 dualies got 2 kills, so I'm going to count that as, hey, 1 set of dualies.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's 4 pistols and they only get 2 kills, that's only really worth half the investment.
That is true, actually. You know what, Michael, you threw me off there. But AVE have managed to throw Nemiga off early in as well. Nemiga were hoping to quickly bull rush down mid, generally expecting more of a stack towards the B-bomb site, maybe even towards apartments a few times over. The full mid brackets reinforcement is something a little bit more of the rare side.
They're seeing an immediate call to timeout here on the side of Nemiga. They get completely destroyed as a result of going for that initial mid-rush. Of course, they were kind of lapsed on a fair amount of utility. AVE were in a place where they could respond quite easily as a result of having that crossfire. Even if trades did go back, it's the fact that Waterfalls maintains control of the arches. It really does spin things round.
Is it AVE, Michael? Because if it is, I'm going to be very disappointed in myself.
I'm just going to assume AVE. I feel like the reason I jumped to AVE is because of AVEs.
Yeah.
Which is
I mean, I just went to
Polish
AVE because of the legendary Danish player, to be honest. Who also spelled his name the exact same way.
Yeah, and AVE could pave a path to success here in the CT side start, given that things have gone off to a pretty swimming one at that.
They are continually maintaining aggressive brackets control so far, and I'm interested to see whether that will be a tendency leading later on into the game as well. We've seen a lot more teams happy to give up banana control without fighting for it, but it's all about what you do in A in the meanwhile, and how exactly and when you choose to throw retake utility on banana. Forio, though, flashbang won't affect him. He's good for 1, but he turned around, wasn't expecting the full rush through. Lollipop was staggered, and Jo's got another. Now they've got control over this A bomb site with only Waterfalls here to try and prevent, but he's missed out his shot, and the double peek from apartments is too much for him to deal with. Moto smoke still in place, so the Molotov coming in is going to be important, but the bomb's being planted deep. M4 recovered now, so Viat can't do anything about the bomb plant.
Oh, Box's position is so strong with the A1S as well, so Raijin does get taken down. Sviat does come up with a trade, and that smoke has to be deployed to get himself some distance.
Oh, that grenade will not be kind to him, but Box will find the kill regardless of a couple of missed shots in that spray. I feel like that's one thing about the M4A1, which is slightly underrated, which is how quickly you can recover with the spray.
Yep. You just keep tapping away, go for these quick bursts, and it's not always transfers, but that recovery time is quite easy. Man, yeah, that position was just too strong there from Box in the post plant. Very difficult to scale up into the site and find those isolated duels. Even when it came to that one-on-one, you could see the difficulties that lay in their path. So even after they're winning the pistol, that second round does go away from them. Something to take away from that CT side as well from AVE, or from AVE. Gonna have to break the habit. My brain's already made up its mind. They dropped a lot of their utility from those A side players to the B side players, just to make sure that they had the option to take banana control if they needed to. So smoke, nade, molly were dropped over. Not that it played a part in that round, but something that we can keep note of as we move further forward. It's always nice to document the small changes as they come into effect.
If it makes you feel any better, Michael. My brain told me that FaZe would be top 3 this year, so brains can sometimes be lying to you. Poria, in the meanwhile, though, has to be careful. There's a player above him, and he knows it. He tries to peek around the corner, but it's Sviat who's really the one to come through with a frag. A frag is all he'll get, though, as his teammates have been rallying over. Raijin hoping for a boost over the smoke, perhaps. That's a possibility, but when it comes through, the spam in return means his totem pole underneath will already have gone by and down. Lollipop prevents him from retreating, and that means the scout can't be recovered. Sugar, well, might not have too much to add to this dish, as many people will discover. Michael, I found out recently that it's not a good idea to add sugar to an omelette.
Okay, I assume the sugar caramelizes.
Yes, that's what I was thinking, and I was thinking, all right, we're gonna have some great, like slightly, just a little bit of sweet
Okay.
hint with a lot of red pepper, already having a sprinkle, and it just tastes really bloody sweet.
Yeah, I used to like adding maple syrup into my scrambled eggs
You are
every so often.
disgusting, and I will
Nah,
go back
man,
to the game
I
now.
live for that. I've got a sweet tooth, so
Die
that's
for
right
that,
up my
Michael.
alley. Yeah, I think
Maple
this is where
syrup.
we might
God.
find a small point of contention because I think you've been saying Raijin. I would have gone with Raijin.
We've had a lot of these issues, haven't we?
Yeah, and especially even you look to the EU side of things with Kyojin, where some people have called him Kyojin.
Who's called him? No one's called him Kyojin, Michael. This is like the Ziwu argument, even though that one makes a lot more sense because he himself called himself Ziwu, so I guess that's there.
Well, it's like a Japanese name. I think I can't remember what I think it was Hoka that made the mispronunciation, but he was quickly corrected. No, not quite anime enough to appreciate the name.
I feel like Hoka looks very much like an anime protagonist in all fairness,
Yeah, well,
kind of like
if that's the case, he's not looking into any other stories about it.
Like, I just feel like Hawkeye looks like he would very much be fantastic as a Duel Masters character. Not Yu-Gi-Oh, but Duel Masters for sure.
Yeah, he's got the glasses as well, so
True.
he can do that little classic push-up and
yeah.
This is all a part of my plan.
Here's my shield trigger. Uber Dragon Bajula, go!
Okay.
AVE, however, hoping to be able to pull out some interesting cards of their own and see whether they can turn this battle for mana around.
Yeah, while Hawk is slaying it on the analyst desk, let's hope that Nemiga are able to appease us here in our own analysis of them. So far, this T side rebound has looked pretty solid. They're cracked into the B side, looking good. And now that this fullback comes in for AVE, whether or not they can put up a decent fight this direction is going to be a big test for them. You can see so much utility being expended. Nade onto box is a solid hit.
Quick nade return doesn't really find too much. It's Raijin and Sviatu are again trying to return fire with the boost against the boost. Still is jumping up. Come on, man, you're a madman. Now Raijin caught off as well in the meanwhile. He was caught in between two worlds. Should I retreat? Should I stay? What do I do? What do I do? Turns out you don't need to think with your head when you've lost it. That's exactly
should I stay or should I go? Just really difficult position. And Waterfalls, while he'll spam away, do some damage. This is not really the full commitment just yet. Lollipop getting so much space over towards A in the meanwhile, but his teammates are into this B bomb site already. I think now they're trying to make this call right back and trying to make use of the smokes. They are trailing away from this B site. Box just left on the lurk.
Box is heavy committed as well. You've got to be careful. And now the CTs are aware that there might have been that lurking player inside A. Question is, are they going to be prepared for this position from Lollipop? First person to be peeking out looks like it might be Poria, but between him and Sugar, they've got so many angles to clear out. They took so long, and Lollipop's got the first for free, looking to get into library, and Ida's balance. It's just not meant to be for Sugar and Waterfalls. Waterfalls still thinking, I swear there was a player, because I'm telling you, there's still a player on B bomb site.
He's here somewhere.
He's here. Where is he? Well, found him.
I knew it. How dare you lurk against us? Little sneaky maneuvers here from Nemiga in the first gun round. You can see AVE getting completely spun out by it, but it's a good read from Nemiga all in all. With Lollipop's advanced position, you saw Idis Balance setting himself up to trade immediately so that they could keep hold of that A site as well as the man advantage. Which means that Waterfalls will be allowed to save, but it's still another round accrued for this T side. Nemiga looking pretty good about things. They're not as well just only committed to that one idea. As soon as Lollipop makes that call over, you could see how easily they were able to sort of back themselves away from it.
Not a good start for AVE, considering they won the Bistro round as well.
Yeah.
Ever since then, it's been downhill throughout. AVE, however, maybe when they've got the AWP out for Waterfalls in the next round, that's going to be a small window of opportunity for them to sort of dive right through. The problem with windows, though, Michael, is very often when you dive through them, it hurts. One of the many problems with windows, some would say. Even so, in the meanwhile, Box is trying to proceed through. Raijin's the only player around, and with the deagle could do some damage. Nemiga have to be careful not to be caught out while being overly aggressive. That's what happened earlier on in the pistol round, even if it hasn't quite reared its head since then.
Full execution and double Molotovs being sent over. A lot of fire raining in towards this B bomb site, but that smoke in at the choke point makes it a whole lot more difficult. They know that pistols are around the other side, so not exactly favoring their chances. They've expended a lot of utility for basically no control here on the side of Nemiga and still waiting to make their move. All these assets over at B, and Nemiga will still have a massive man advantage for this.
Sviat is just fully blind. They're using so many flashes, but they have to be careful. Sviat rushes through, good for one, but he turns around, doesn't prioritize the same angle, and Raijin can't chain up the double shot. The old Eagle might have gotten that one. Don't know if it would have. Maybe. Just maybe. Bomb is recovered despite being dropped in CT, and with plenty of time, they should be able to get the spawn and wind down this round. Waterfalls as well, still in a bit of a mixed mind whether he'd like to save or not. He does have enough money to buy the next round regardless, but an AK is always nice to take forward, but only if you can take it forward.
Little fumble, little movement there from Poria, and could have cost him his life, but he will be able to make his swift exit. Yeah, all in all, again, the patience there from Nemiga, even after that smoke is thrown over towards B, they don't, I guess, overthink it. Sometimes when you're in that spot, it can be very easy to sort of run the other direction, but because they brought all of those players into Banana so early into the round, it's very difficult to then re-challenge, you know, the potential A-side push. Maybe the apartments have been taken over by CT sides. It's actually easier to work the apartments as a T side now, especially with those deagle changes on low buys. You know, not quite as at risk anymore of getting the two-shot body shot spam. See, again, AVE dropping a lot of their utility over to those B-side players, so some options are open. Some nades.
Deo. He's just hoping to keep control over towards Banana and not let them aggress forward, expecting AVE to perhaps go for that peek down B with the AWP. It's trying to balance. Rather, no, it's Lollipop who's playing with fire. Over towards the apartment side. Waterfalls doesn't want to deal with him anymore, and a quick smoke out to the entrance of that B bomb site. Just to give them a bit of a one-way to work off of as well. Raijin wants to peek out. Sviat's there as well. Sviat good for two, but the trades are still available.
Got to go quickly about this as well. They're crunching in from behind. AVE pushing through the A side while Waterfalls just maintains a bit of presence over towards B. This AWP, the scope has been heard. They know that he's in construction, but whether or not they'll realize that this double flank is coming is a whole different story. Nemiga are still contained in the site.
There is that one Molotov that could be deployed soon, and they will need to do so. Poria, though, peeks forward. Perfect flashbang. Eye disbalance all alone. Two players peeking in, and Sugar just straight to the head. AVE will find their first gun round and their first round since the pistol. Nemiga, however, are going to be comfortable monetarily, but it still was just a fantastic peek out from Sviat to be able to find those two frags and slow them down. Michael, we haven't discussed this so far.
Sure.
Because I hadn't actually realized this because I'm a little bit silly. How do you pronounce one ear?
Lear.
Lear, okay. I thought it was ear with an I first, and then I realized no, it's actually a one, and I misread it. So
yeah, you know that attack in Pokemon that, you know, gives you the.
So we're just going full anime now. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, may as well. Just lean into it. I think it like scares the opponent and it gives you like the attack advantage or something. It's been a while since I've done anything Pokemon related.
I'm not gonna lie to you. All I know is that a Dark Charizard was a fantastic card. That's all.
Oh my god. Even that's a little foreign to me, to be quite honest.
That's first gen. That's literally all I know.
Dark Charizard. This.
Yeah. So we can talk about this later on in like an anti-eco or something. I'll give you a bit of history from what I remember. Yeah. Raijin. It's gone a little bit awry.
Yeah, might be raging the fact that they're actually not committing B just yet. You know, has to deploy his own smoke. So much tag damage being done onto Nemiga, though.
Yeah, that makes it very hard for them to actually regress back onto A as well if they want to, with the brackets control being maintained. It's basically impossible to get brackets without getting some tag damage onto you, unless you just get the craziest entry kills known to mankind. So those deals become a lot more difficult as well while you're at it. Still reaggress onto B. Great timing. Oh, that is beautiful. The grenade as well as a Molotov, and Sviat just needed that one extra bullet. Molotov keeps it going. They're fully blind, but with the flames down, what do they need to see, Michael? They don't need to see their enemies burning alive. iDisbalance will finally respond, but the CT is still firmly in control, and iDisbalance can't adjust in time. Jayo all alone, retreating back, repeats out, and he'll give up his life on the AWP with it.
And we see the grenade changes as well affecting that round from AVE. You could see the utility that they kept throwing over towards Banana. They kept trailing back towards CT spawn because their HEs being dropped over. I love that we're seeing CT sides adapt to what's being brought to the table. You actually see sort of a delayed amount of presence in terms of how they're able to bring this one forward. They're even shooting the utility over that direction. So
that's quite cute.
Yeah, to minus the fumbling. So.
Not to mention, I mean, you know, if you shoot the utility actually moves like really far when you shoot
a lot further.
It's not like a kid or something which just barely adjusts itself.
It's a heavy.
It's not as stubborn. Yeah. I wonder how much it actually costs. I mean, it weighs like if there was one in real life.
I imagine it's got the pliers and the sort, a couple of wires.
True. Waterfalls though. He's got a wire to cut, and it's iDisbalance. Oh, what a shot from Waterfalls. Destroys him. So patient as well. iDisbalance jumps the gun a bit and he shoots him through the wall. Waterfalls is perfectly fine with losing out some HP for the actual kill.
Yeah, might not have shot first, but man advantage, happily take it.
With the flashbang, he's just been forced off. He's got a flash of his own as well, just to peek out, reclaim some sidelines. But oh, actually, Michael, that smoke might have a small gap in the side as well. Waterfalls wants to take use of it. Double nade in the meanwhile, barely missing out on the Jayo. Of course, always a little bit harder to actually land that one later on into the round by bouncing it off. It can be seen if there's a player playing from longs and you can move away from it, but even so, even forcing them back is not completely useless. Raijin, in the meanwhile, hoping to play from this new box and peek out. Sviat also will be doubling up that attempt as he gets one. Raijin's used him as bait. He's got two, and Sviat even found the space to back off. Lollipop all alone, and AVE showing us how it's done on the CT side. This is beautiful.
Yeah, Nemiga just keep going towards these late B hits, and they're trying to dodge out on some of this additional utility that AVE have to throw, but they're still taking heavy tag damage. Not to mention that when they actually tried to move towards that A site, like you mentioned, Waterfalls came in with that kill, which they were more than happy with. Even with them trying to keep presence on the AVE side towards A, it wasn't enough. The crossfire just too strong, too much to handle. The fact that Sphere gets cheeky around that smoke, like you said, just kind of tease up Raijin. So yeah, things are not exactly shaping up the way you might have expected. Nemiga got off to a pretty solid start here on this T side, but these gun rounds from AVE are quite contestable. Flashing from Sphere, he just keeps on fighting. He's a madman, doesn't need support.
That is nuts. I mean, that flash for himself and peeking out with it for the instant headshot, that's what lines him up for the second two, and he's still alive after all of that. There just isn't the punish available to the T side, and sure, it's a half buy you've got to deal with, but god damn it if it's not hard to deal with those half buys on the CT side, especially without losing a lot of weaponry. And you look at that weaponry on A side, Michael, what do you see? You see AKs, and more AKs.
Yeah, that's always the testament to a successful CT side, isn't it?
Oh, Molotov's a little bit delayed, but at least it's good at separating the two players. Fiat will just be nestled away. In the meanwhile, even pops out for a second layer is worse for wear, and the flashbang won't affect Lollipop. It popped on top of the rooftops, and Lollipop was already undercover. Waterfalls, grenade to go out. It could do good damage, and that almost was a kill. That's a bit slow with it. Flashes are still good to net it down, and all that's left is for Lollipop to try and get the ace. Good for one, but the reload means he can't just keep peeking out. Repeaks for another. He's sharp, but he's not sharp enough.
Yeah, too many players. Unfortunately for him, just locking him into towards dark. That a Molotov is available as well on waterfalls, but keeps his gun out just to make sure that they can line up that trade. AVE have ground this one back. 5-5. Nemiga, a lot of difficulties in terms of cracking into this B bomb site. You know, whether it's Fiat coming in with a double kill just as Nemiga are coming into the bomb site, or whether he's meeting them at top banana. Fiat's been a joy to watch in these rounds, especially when they're going for these quick collapses, because it always seems like he's catching Nemiga out. You're seeing kind of a slow start from a few of these Nemiga stars. Yeah. And I was kind of mentioning that ahead of this game, is that, you know, sometimes they end up in these spots kind of actually all too frequently. Lollipop's usually the one that tides them over in terms of getting them to a spot where the engine is up and running. But this isn't their first game. You know, this is a really heavy contending spot, because they're, I think, what, 1 and 2 at the moment.
Yep.
So they'll need these last remaining wins, and AVE is supposed to be one of the easier opponents that they're facing.
AVE should be one of the ones where you're like, okay, Lollipop have like a solid 75-80% chance of winning this one.
Yeah.
And of course, not to take anything away from AVE, it's just that it will always take you time and wins before your reputation meets your actual skill level. That's just true forever. Even if you look at, you know, I mean, Michael and I were having this discussion yesterday about Astralis, but where I still think that the fact that you've got Astralis against you, it's just like it's enough to sort of rattle the bones of a lot of players, even if it's not the same IGL, even if it's not the same, you know, even if it's not the same like Star Opera against you, it's still Astralis, it's still 3 players from it, yeah. And you've got that name value. So in the same way, it doesn't matter if Gambit was the best team in the world in the beginning of the year. They weren't considered the best team in the world until 4 or 5 months into it. Same with Navi, you know, they beat out Gambit in a couple of BO3s. They might have been #1, but we can't call them that until they've really, really gone out and proven it. There's always that lag. So for AVE to be considered vastly underdogs, that's no diss to AVE. That just means that reputationally, you're expecting Nemiga to be the ones who, you know, can really walk away with this one and have it look relatively clean.
Yeah, and we'll have that mental fortitude. We'll have that level of polish as well, where they can always bounce back into the game. And you know, we're still only kind of halfway through this first half. Yeah. But to see like the numbers from Lollipop, 97 ADR in 10 rounds, where, you know, they've been losing half of them. Feels like they are coming up and putting up the damage, but AVE just have these fast responses, especially with Sphere and Waterfalls really leading the charge for them. And once again, very early nades here from that CT side. Fiat moves back. Actually, no, Raijin will be the one to ferry over that utility. So an opportunity now as Fiat is isolated, but still he wins out the fight.
The flasher just doesn't catch him out, and he's able to get that one before backing off. So it's also doing very well as far as utility damage is concerned, and you can see why. He's had that grenade ferried over to him as well. Double nade can go through. Jo reveals his position and being a lot closer than maybe they'd like it to be, and now smokes himself off, working the one way wherever he can, but the spam's going to make it a little bit annoying.
Is it not having to deal with the bombardment? Waterfalls full belt. Molotov could go in at the entrance just as they're setting up for this execute.
Raijin's been forced off the angle. Maybe this is their time to be able to key in, but Sviat peeks out. He's into their smoke as well. They're going to realize it. Jo will find him and shut him down. Now, you've got a player boosted up who you've got to deal with. That's Raijin, but he's fully flashed, and Idis Balance wins out the round. Waterfalls laying inside the coffin, but you know what the call is, Michael. You know it.
Oh, he got the
Waterfalls. finds it, takes it down. That's crucial time located as well for Poria and Sugar's flashes to maybe come in. Itis balance good for one, but Waterfalls is now running away to try and save perhaps. Sugar, however, saving the day. Another M4 picked up. Jo. Flashbang will be door. Jo got two, and Jo knows the rule, Michael. The golden rule is to let waterfalls come to you. You don't go chasing waterfalls, Michael. You stick to the rivers and the streams you're used to.
Oh man, great hold there from Jo though. He really just stands his ground. This is a replay from a previous round, but you see some of that effectiveness that comes through. Waterfalls, the fact that he's able to delay this long as a result of getting the 2 tags on the spam. Thought it was going to be enough, but with the Jo clutch, Nemiga do just squeak it out. I do appreciate the reference, I do.
Thank you.
I wish I knew more of the lyrics. I would have continued it with you, but
me too. That's literally the only part I remember.
Yeah.
I think I know that you're gonna have it your way or nothing at all.
Yeah, even that's completely out of my realm of knowledge.
But I think you're moving too fast. AVE, however, did move very quickly up to 5, and Nemiga will not let them move past just yet. At least not without a fight. Nemiga's own money is very much under risk, although you can say that for both sides. So a swing round now comes into play, and they have swung their sights onto the apartments area, where now rotations are coming in. Lair's caught out, but he still gets the kill. There's not going to be another from Archers because it's just not lining up. Poria finally gets it, but time has been bought for the motor smoke to go down, and the bomb can be planted with it.
That was one of the best kills to be finding as well, because Sugar didn't have head armor, so that Mac 10 just so lethal up close, and they weren't ready for the burst. Nade onto Jo does do significant damage. The Molotov not enough to flush him out into the open. These post plants from Nemiga are so strong. Oh,
that's so good as well. They make sure they're flashing through right as the smoke will be re-blooming at Moto. That smoke from that's from the CT side. Never mind. Jo though catches out the first. Poria tried to push through the smoke with the isolated angles, but Lair's already playing off of the graveyard. This is a bit of a one-way for him that can work out magnificently in his favor. They're not going to be expecting him in this position, and the CTs will run the hell away. AVE don't have a way back into it because of all that extra utility that Nemiga had ready.
This is a really great call as well there from Nemiga. So many times they've set up in the early round to constantly contest B-side control, and AVE have been playing without that much information, you know, throwing those nades, sitting back in the bomb sites, ferrying that utility. We've touched on it a few times over. So now Nemiga just set up early in these apartments where that SMG leads the way. And because I get that entry so quickly, AVE are kind of all over the place. They're not in a spot to quickly react. They don't have a player in the pit either. So holding on to any sort of A-side control is just, it's gone in an instant. Nemiga, a great capitalization off of that fact. And now money's run thin here for AVE, so this could really swing the door wide open for Nemiga. The double nade, 1 and 6 HP. AVE just barely squeaking alive.
Duncan. All day long, Michael. They're running away. I love it. A second, hey. Guys, if anyone's gonna do anything, it has to be Raijin. We're out of here.
Yeah, swap the players out. We're not too healthy.
Waterfalls will also make his way over, but he's gonna need those flashes if Raijin wants to push through, and Raijin's making that call for sure. But actually, hold the point, because now call is to go back to the A bomb site. Guess what, Michael? You've got yourself some tenderized meat there, ready for the eating.
Yeah, real soft. Might just melt in your mouth here if you're an Nemiga.
Gotta be careful though. There is still Sugar. You've got to be keeping an eye out for. Always a real killer to a dish. And oh, they've played this perfectly. They've avoided everything. Waterfalls. Yeah. He's all alone, and he's in an angle where he doesn't really have the advantage of mobility. 30 seconds, he has to come up close. Now flashes aren't really present. Lair won't be able to do anything about this. Waterfalls can maybe put up a big one-man hold. He's got 2 already. Looks for 3 of flashes. Good, but Lollipop's just spamming away into the heavens, asking for a frag. He will find it. Raijin around the corner. They've got the man advantage, but 2 of their men might as well be unfit for battle. Raijin needs to peek in, and he's got the first. Now they have to go for it, and IDIS Balance is waiting for them to come in. It's an economy trap if I've ever seen one. The CTs don't have a choice. Which way do they go? How will they try and line it up? Poria leading the charge forward, trying to use the mobility in his advantage to make sure the op can't find anything, and Raijin's got the perfect timing. IDIS Balance out to defend on his own. He can't scope in on time, and Sugar will have found the space with just about enough time to get the defuse as well. Fortunately, was the player with the kit too.
Oh, that kill from Raijin is the most key kill there. I mean, he's one of the healthy players there from AVE. He deals with a healthy player on Nemiga, and you can see that they were kind of frozen in spots because IDIS Balance couldn't really move from his with that AWP. Teammate was low as well, so it had to be IDIS Balance to come up with some big kills. But that initial hold from Waterfalls does a whole lot of work. Thought 1 kill was going to be the maximum, the ceiling there for him. If not for the fact that Lollipop got that blind spray. I mean, Waterfalls was teed up for more. What a hero moment, especially when things were looking grim there for AVE. And now a potential swing around that could result in these last 2 going the team that wins this round's direction.
Going for slightly faster control over Banana. AVE this time, they've learned their lesson. They're not rotating away too early, and JO even bold as can be.
They've been so focused on B, on the side of Nemiga.
It's really just been changes of pace where they've gone to A, or rather when Nemiga can have Lollipop just lurk through perfectly. Lollipop again lurking over towards the A bomb site, so they can maybe even think about going back, but now you've got to break on, and there's basically 3 players here for CTs. And now good grenade, and it's IDIS Balance and Box to find the double openers. CTs have got nothing they can do. Waterfalls has to run. The op just isn't useful playing from back of CT spawn.
That HE super slows him because he gets tagged by the nade actually, and then the explosion after the fact as well. So when he swung, it's like at a snail's pace. Yeah, great recognition there from Nemiga. They throw the smoke down CT, but they don't actually throw a whole load of flashes. They're just waiting to see if AVE peek into it. Sometimes that's one of the difficulties that you'll encounter, is that if there is some utility thrown in your direction, you can't be sure if it's a fake until you kind of peek into it. You know, you want to see some additional presence. The Molotovs, the flashes, they have to be there. I mean, you just pounce. So this is shaping up.
Was finding a lot of success when they were going for that continual contest and having that extra utility to be able to do it. You know, Sviat, even if I look over towards the utility damage right now, he's sitting on 387. That sounds like a lot, but when you consider that in a couple of rounds earlier, we're still on that 324 mark, you can see what the impact of the diminishing economy on the CT side has also done to the Behold.
Yeah, they have been able to leverage that additional set of grenades where they've had the opportunities, but if that money's running thin, then you can't exactly go for all the extra luxuries.
Deep Molly and Waterfalls has to be careful. He's being tagged up completely. There's nothing he can do. He even had the smoke in his hand, Michael, but just doesn't deploy it in time. And now Svian around the corner will be moving through. There's no flash, and he's only good for 1 because if it could have been maybe a big double, but no teammates to assist him. AVE are looking like they're still going to be locked out on 6. Nemiga have got so much utility for this post plant as well, and Sugar is yet to move. He's yet to move. Or he's good for 1 at the very least.
Yeah, could at least give them an opportunity. Of course, they have to go for this last round of the half. They have the utility to flush out some of these tougher spots. See, Poria knows that he wants to be the one that leads this charge. So giving all of his utility over to Sugar, he'll just be the nade mule and throw in everything that they need for this retake. Poria has to come in with this entry.
JO's not going to care about the flames behind him. It's all about Poria in front, and Poria's gone. Sugar, good luck, because you're going to need it in the next half. Nemiga take out the first, even if they look to be floundering in the middle for just a while. We're going to have to wait to see what awaits us in the second half. Be back in a bit. Back to the Intel Extreme Masters. We've got for ourselves a bit of a showing from AVE. They did start to flounder once their economy ran low. I'm T-Time, joined by Michael, Yumi, Cassidy. Some interesting things with grenades having been brought out and shown to us, but I'm curious to see what Nemiga have to offer on that CT side.
Yeah, AVE adopting a lot of the changes. Dualies were out. They were swapping nades left and right.
I forgot about
Whereas
that.
Nemiga, they're a little bit shyer from some of these changes, a bit more traditional here on this CT pistol as well, but a lot of armor, no utility, no kits, no nothing. We'll see if this double set here from AVE does throw them for a bit of a loop, whether that matters all too much. They're playing it fairly slow as well, just not falling victim to this early peeking that Lollipop's been doing.
Oh, hold it, because right now box has already gone down. They're going to need to force rotations back towards that B bomb set, and the bomb angle inside the boiler room. Lollipop is also just finished off and brought down. Now the CTs need to get aggressive. They don't really have much of a choice, and Lear is going to be the one to do it and walk straight into Raijin. 3 kills all over the place for AVE. At least that's what it seems like with how they have positioned themselves. I disbalance from Jo.
I mean, just no shot.
Remaining. Yeah, like, you don't have a kit either.
It's just the fact that they lose an initial duel over towards Banana looking for information, and then one by one, Nemiga trickle into different spots on the map, just again looking for some open territory, only for an AVE player to be lying in wait.
You can't be everywhere. Actually, you are everywhere. Oh, never mind. Okay, apparently you can be.
Yeah. Just a lot of isolated fights being won here from AVE. There's nothing too fancy. They throw the utility at the end just to be extra careful, but wasn't actually needed. So one of the difficulties if you go for heavy armor on the side of the CTs, if you don't have flashes, it feels like you can't take straight up gunfights. And then when things go wrong, you don't exactly have the added advantage that the utility can provide. Jo does get away with a fight, but now doesn't have the clean upgrade into armor. Neither does I Disbalance.
I mean, Nemiga will still be force buying into it, and I don't think they'd be going for the head armor regardless. So,
yeah, it's kind of whatever, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I Disbalance actually does buy into the head armor.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. About. Don't like that. Actually, really, I just generally feel like head armor is a waste of time in a force buy round because the extra grenade on Inferno can do so much on the CT side, you know, just in a stack and whatnot. And in all fairness, my philosophy of Counter-Strike is also to just always stack in a force buy. Just no matter what happens on the CT side, you go for a stack. 4-1 split at best. And just have a couple extra nades and whatnot. See if you can bait a player out into thinking that it's a stack on the other side of the map, play super defensive. But yeah, that's just me.
Inferno is not exactly a bad map for that particular mantra either. It could just be very hard to get away with playing it traditional round CS unless you hit like crazy deagle shots.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to get like 1 or 2 1-deags to justify a more standard approach, which, you know, sounds easier said than done. You know, just shoot them in the head, lol. It's a classic as old as time.
Indeed,
but
it is. Apparently, that's what was said when Counter-Strike was initially invented. Just shoot them in the head.
Yeah, they made the utility really, really weird in 1.6.
I mean, there was some other stuff before 1.6 as well, which was pretty odd, to be honest.
Also the nades were massive. They were chunky.
Yeah. Didn't feel like they did as much damage either, so at least not when I threw them.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the case. But hard to spot out. Players have even been saying like, oh, if someone tries to flick flash you around a corner, try and shoot the grenade, which is kind of ridiculous, but also could see it happening.
I just want to wait till we get to like the major, and then you need a flashbang from across like the map, so you just see someone tossing a flashbang up from
and then shooting it
and shooting it along all the way through. That would be sick. That would be sick, Michael, is the word you're looking for. Right now, IDIS Balance is looking for information, though, and not information on how to shoot flashbangs across a bomb site. Lollipop is also going to have a jumping player who he's met with a headshot. Sugar's down, and IDIS Balance will be the trade. Box, however, keeps in the favor of the CT Sun. There's still a crossfire inside pit, and this is so dangerous. Nemiga have just come through and done the same as what we saw in that first half, where they just went out the forest by.
Oh, they did them dirty as well. They had just had so many crossfires, so many strong positions to be held onto that CT side. Sure, they're giving up a lot of space. You know, they're not contesting brackets. They're not really into the apartments either. But then AVE tried to make that wrapping play, and then before they know it, they're issued with the firing squad. They take so much damage. They're unable to get any sort of securement into the pit. And so Nemiga just keep fighting. They never made it up Speedway or up Moto. Well, yeah, losing both pistols, but like you said, they've come away with both respective force buys. So,
which some would say is the true pistol round of Counter-Strike right now.
it's the better spot to be in.
You thought you had a 1 round of lost bonus for free because of Val? Ha! Think again. Scrub. Probably don't say scrub after that.
Yeah, they probably have a lot of respect. They know that this is a pretty tough opponent. They've been tested pretty heavily as well so far this game, so it feels like they need these. And like I mentioned earlier, it was a bit of a slow sort of whirring up here from Nemiga. It took a while for the engine to get running, but now we're seeing the players we expect to from Nemiga show up. You know, Sviat was kind of a menace, let's say, for AVE on that CT side, and Nemiga needed that firepower step up.
I'm sticking out. He's got to make a move soon. IDIS Balance, however, is quickly traded out. That could be the opening, but it's a fake opening because there's still 2 players in the bomb site itself. A smoke in Moto means you have to push through it. Lollipop won't really be too frazzled by this, but he want to have the smoke regardless, just to obscure some vision as well. But Raijin, good for the trade here, locates the player, but he's moved back behind the smoke, has been given the space to go for another as well, and dropping the bomb means Poria doesn't have a chance in this round anymore. He's found it, but it takes too long, and he knows he can't do anything about it. Just needs to die now. Box will give him that blessing.
Oh, the AVE comms are all over the place. Lear drops off of that cold zero angle, makes so much noise while running it at Raijin, and he doesn't realize, only for them to get a secondary kill on top of that.
Raijin might have actually just thought that that's his players running up short.
Yeah. Oy, oy, oy. Definitely a chance there for AVE to take that bomb site. Lear's been a little quiet this game, and only with an SMG, you wouldn't have exactly favored his chances, but he gets it done. And so now, even with those opportunities being present, Nemiga have whisked away another. What do we expect other than more force buys? And I don't think that they're really in a setup here where Nemiga are susceptible to the burst, especially with Lollipop really keeping that in the back of his mind. They've got that double setup on towards the brackets as well. 4 players on this A site for Nemiga. So if AVE try and pick up the pace, there'll be more players than they realize, but that's a great way to start. Picking off Lear when there's no crossfire available, no quick trade. Box doing damage, but unable to find the kill.
There's no grenade to finish him off either. A lot of flashes now being deployed. Box has to step up. He's good for 1, makes it 2. What's going on? How do they not know he's there? Raijin now trying to come in with more frags, but it's Sviat on the Tech 9 who gets 3 somehow. Jo, he's got a lot of questions to ask, but right now the chief one of them is, what the hell do I do here, guys? I'm 3v1 and Waterfalls has been given an AK. So AVE just headshot them, Marco. You know what? They listen to the good old advice. Just shoot them in the head.
Oh, how on earth does Sviat get those kills? They knew a player was inside of the smoke and at the arches, but Sviat is inside of the site fighting someone. It's like he's like mid-fight decided to start spraying through that smoke, and he just got a headshot on top of it. I caramba. I don't know what to say. Sviat has been playing pretty lights out here for AVE. Him and Waterfalls were big reasons as to why they got as many rounds as they did on CT side. But now a round that I actually thought Nemiga would have kind of had in the bag based off the performance from Box there. Now suddenly they're on USPs.
That's a nightmare. Worst possible situation for the CT side. AVE's been given everything they need to start to equalize, and now it's just about conservation of rounds that should be free.
And in terms of contesting this group, right? AVE, I'm not sure that they're really still in the running for it. I don't think that they can maybe weasel away even into that third place spot, but this is a must win for Nemiga. They need this to be contenders.
AVE can be third place. It's really dicey, but they can be.
Yeah, I think it's just too heavily reliant on other results, right?
Yeah, they need Entropic to like lose out. Okay, in their last two maps, and right now they're against Spirit, so that could happen, but then they're against Nemiga later on, where Entropic is heavily favored. So, you know, if Entropic lose out those last two, and AVE can win this and against Akuma up next, then they can have a chance.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces. Let's just say that for AVE.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah. Whereas Nemiga, I think the pathway was a little bit more insight. You know,
yeah.
you would have been able to predict how things would go if you were trying to slot yourself into that third place slot at a minimum. And now with these hero rounds as well from AVE, I mean, you have to imagine Nemiga are getting a little flustered. Their best chances at building upon this lead have gone askew. See what they get done now that they're back into rifles. So they are really dry on utility here on the side of Nemiga, especially when you expect quite a bit of that is going to be in the early contest for Banana. We end up in post plants. I mean, that's already a massive concern. You don't imagine that Nemiga will want to challenge too heavily. Sugar, what are you up to? Just sitting his way into the smoke. Flash is in as well to try and push Lollipop back, and they'll take brackets relatively for free. There's no one that can make a quick rotation either here for Nemiga. They went for a 3B setup, and AVE ain't slowing down.
There's also no option for them to let the bomb go down, like you mentioned. IDIS balance now. The flash is nice, sure, but it doesn't matter. He's still smoked off. Can't peek through it either. Lollipop peeks out of a head, finds Sugar. Sugar's gone. Lollipop wants to keep fighting, but he's only good for one, and Lair can't add to the tally. Now they've been locked out of the bomb site. IDIS balance misses a chance, and now JO's demise means they have to save. Isn't that chance? Isn't that opportunity?
And they just couldn't do anything about it. I was saying that AVE were just going to continue with that pace, but even with those smokes that are thrown over towards the libraries and the arches, they slow down so much so that Nemiga actually can't make those rotations effectively, and then it is that collapse onto those two A-side players. Even if they have some semblance of a crossfire, they're just unable to really support one another. I mean, Nemiga pulled everybody over towards A, but they just get cut off at those choke points where, I mean, those safer rotations, they couldn't make them. Man, the change of pace there, actually so well done there from AVE. I was kind of praising some of the Nemiga calling as well in terms of how they utilize that A-bomb site. AVE have been abusing it in these fast few rounds where Nemiga just kept going B, AVE just keep going A.
Of course, if Nemiga fall over here, that is also going to be good news for Entropic, who will be in a significantly better place to be able to secure that third place decider. So do keep that in mind. Nemiga, however, still far from falling. Box is getting aggressive into them. Raijin is gone. Now the change of pace comes from the CT side as they're very huddled inside B. Sugar, however, the trade is fantastic. Lollipop, the one to take him down, and the CTs have to be prepared for the full execute that might come their way on this B bomb site. Flashes aplenty, but used a none. His balance also won't really be too affected by that Molotov. He's been flashed up completely. Wow, that flash is really good, actually.
Yeah.
It's really hard to flash that particular spot, but Idis Balance misses his shot. He's even had his teammate go down. Jayo's around in the afterlife. Idis Balance will also be joining him. Now Lear and Lollipop need to get their way over. Soon Lollipop's being spammed up. He's been able to take the bomb down before it's planted, and Sviat's on 9 HP. Gets a long-range shot. What's going on with Sviat, man? This second half has just been unreal from him.
He has been ridiculous. And I mean, he's low HP. That smoke only just started fading, and he taps him out of existence.
What?
Who would have thunk it? I mean, AVE, I talked about the expectations coming into this group, coming into this event as well, and you wouldn't have put them as these heavy contenders. And against Nemiga, maybe that isn't the biggest test. You know, I talked about some of the tumultuous circumstances that they've had, some of the issues that they encounter frequently into these games. But I mean, pound for pound, they match up. They do the dirty work, and they are making Nemiga sweat right now. Especially because we know Nemiga love to go aggressive on their CT sides. They're just being completely contained.
God, I still can't believe Sviat got that, though. That's nuts. Like the Tech 9 round and now this is very much like he is putting AVE on his back. He smoke out, Sviat. Not quite.
Certainly see it happening.
Yeah.
There's anyone to do it.
He can do it with Tech 9. Yeah, he can do it with the automatic rifle.
They don't have Molotovs to slow this one down here on the side of Nemiga, but a whole lot of flashes. You could see Box just investigating, but there's Sviat posted. He was ready to go.
And they're getting in for the full execute. Ryan's been left from the lurk to cut off rotations, but no, they're even moving back. But with the kill on jail, will they reconsider is the question. And Nemiga side is reconsidering what the hell they can do here. 15 seconds on the clock. If they can take down the bomb planter, Idis Balance can get a lot done over here. He's found the person out and he's covered from pit. If the player can keep himself alive and drop the bomb, that's going to be big. And he won't have time. Barely just gets it. Poria should have it down, and he will.
Oh,
no. No, what? Oh. The timer even looked like he had it.
Yeah, it's so damn close.
Oh. Well, that's one way to get around.
Is that really what we're being met with on the replay? Our replay op is trolling. I can't believe that, because the bomb gets dropped and he does get his hands on it at about that 5-second mark, but he then needs to pull the bomb out, then get it planted. Usually our talk is often about, you know, getting into the site and starting punching in those digits at about that 4 or sort of 3 3/4 second mark. But yeah, it's just too many variables, too many things that could have gone wrong. But that was a great read as well from Nemiga, and that all stems off of Lollipop pushing ahead of the smokes in at B. Even with his teammate getting burned to a crisp, Lollipop pushed past those smokes, gave the all clear, and said, "Do not rotate, do not move a muscle. They're coming back." But the fact that AVE get all of those entries, and then it's just this fumbling of the package that needed to go down. You could see that frustration at the end. It started spamming boxes. They couldn't quite believe it. That's a round that falls between their fingertips.
And they're not out of it yet, even if they didn't get the lead. Let's not forget, Nemiga still have pretty much as poor money as money can be on the CT side. Yeah. So T's, who have, you know, who had their parents invest early, come through with, hey, you can have a trust fund. Nemiga, you're going to have to do it the hard way. With grit, determination, my long walks through the snow. Lair's got his hiking boots on, though, and now that he's heard that player nearby knows that Waterfalls was in the direct vicinity. The T's are, however, trailing back to contest Arches instead. In the meanwhile, Sviat, the one to lead the charge over there. The charge will be met by a 5-7 soon. Box has been quite the hand with this weapon in the past, but this more time, it's Lair to fall. Poria just expecting the push to come through. And with 45 seconds, the push from mid might be what catches them off. Beyond that, no chance in this. Ida's balance has been found as well. And Sviat is covering the flank. Nothing to do here. AVE equalize all over again.
Man, Sviat's not, crazy out of the circuit in terms of, sometimes we see players getting up to, towing the line between them and 30. But he has been putting up these consistent multi-frags, and now when they had this flank coming, Sviat gets the spray transfer down middle, long range, headshot to headshot. I don't think we need to maybe talk that much more about how crisp Sviat has been, because he has been a massive driving force here for AVE. And like you'd mentioned, that money never really got going here for Nemiga. So now they're just down to pistols once again. AVE have a great opportunity now to build on a lead. The tall tower over at this B bomb site here for Nemiga, but it's just a tower of USPs.
The tall task for them as well.
Yeah, they're definitely shirts drenched.
Whenever I see stacks like this, I just like to imagine two nades. Pop, pop. But no, instead it's just Leo who's popping them open. Finds himself 2 kills with the USPs. That can happen with the tower. That can happen.
They're getting scared off. So rifles could be recovered here for Nemiga.
Yeah, they can be, but at the same time, Lollipop on the other bomb site needs to find at least 1 kill for those rifles to be particularly useful. And he's 4 to 3, I think. So he doesn't notice the player jumping out from the corner of the screen from apartments.
Even if that wasn't the case, even if it wasn't resolution focused, he was just, hyper focused on taking those fights on short. Too many players all at the same time, and they swarm them. So, yeah, you're right. Those rifles, should they recovered, but they will be saved for the next round instead. Lollipop not able to deter or slow them down.
AVE will finally get the lead as well off the back of this. They've been really trying to go for that many times over. Even in the first half, it seemed like the second they equalized, Nemiga just turned things around and brought it right back in their favor. Now AVE, well, this could be where they take control.
Feels like do or die now for Nemiga. Pretty solid buy that they're going to be able to compose. But like you said, AVE could really just build on the success that they've already had. They've forced Nemiga into this spot where almost every time they've tried to get aggressive on CT early, just to get a minor edge in the round, whether it's having a cheated rotation over, having the threat of a fast flank, they've been punished immediately every time.
And I mean, look, I think there's no doubt about it. Across the entirety of the map so far, AVE has represented the better team. Nemiga have had a couple of individual moments. I've had a couple of standout calls as well. I don't want to take anything away from them, but AVE just looks deadly on Inferno.
Just look more well packaged.
Yeah. Lollipop, though, he wants to be wrapped away as well. Doesn't really want to be peeked into, but Sugar just finds and takes him down on the entry. Ida's balance is traded as well. Despite having found a nice kill on the waterfall, it's only Lear now left, and the Molotov straight in. Lear's been pushed out straight to mini pit. He goes. They're going to be expecting this adjustment, but they don't actually get him down instantly. Lear only good for 1 as he tried to adjust. Fiat is the one to take him down, as well has been the case many times over.
I mean, what do you even do as these B-side players? You rotate in, and before you know it, the side is gone. You don't have that much utility because you've constantly been met with these economic troubles. It just feels like they're constantly chasing after AVE on what their plan is, but because they're, by virtue of the fact they're chasing after them, they are that step behind.
Well, listen, Michael. I've played B-side a lot in my day. Okay, and I'll tell you what I do in these situations. I report everyone on my team for griefing me, and I don't go next.
Give a little flame, like hold A.
Like, stop leaking on A.
There's 3 of you. How do you keep losing the sight?
ZOMG question mark question mark.
There's no way people still use oh my god.
Do you know where that came from, by the way? From what I've heard. It comes from RuneScape, because RuneScape had this incredibly famous player called Zezima.
Yes, I do remember that.
It was the first player to ever get level 99s on all of the skills that existed at the time.
I swear it was maybe before that, but I don't know. I was still such a youth at the time.
That's what I was told, because you know that's not where I discovered it from. And people were like, "Oh my, it's like Zezima, oh my god," which is just absurd. But even so. For the Counter-Strike people, who are sort of like the Neo of RuneScape. Raijin, though, finds IDIS balance. And he shut him down. The AWP to find absolutely nothing. Maybe JOs can do more, but all it does is reveal its position. 3 players from the CTs have flurried back over towards the A bomb site, where Nemiga were heavily focused on B. You can say the opposite for AVE, as they have been owing most of the success to this A bomb site.
If Box had moved through that smoke, Raijin was in a perfect place to be able to punish. Oh my god, no way! That cannot be real!
They had fixed that! They said they fixed it! Val, why are you lying to us? Box now! Brought down! Oh,
that cannot be
Michael.
happening. Are you serious?
I haven't seen that happen in years.
Yeah.
In years! Oh. Source to when?
So, unless it wasn't painfully apparent, because he's staring into the wall and he's quick switching, it's like typically when there's that interaction between a wall and a gun, the gun stops being rendered when it's supposed to protrude straight through it. The gun doesn't just vanish. Your arm doesn't reel all the way back. And I think because he was quick switching, it kind of like breaks that interaction.
Yeah. Game design must really suck. Just like, who accounts for the quick switch?
Yeah, so his gun is just visible through the wall, and so it's just the easiest spam of Raijin's life.
Oh god, that is nightmarish. Amiga even called the timeout. They know that they're tilted. I would be as well. That is
I'm tilted.
I know, Michael. I know.
I don't have a horse in this race. I don't know that they're gonna be able to diagnose that issue the same way, because obviously we can see they have no idea. But if players are getting spammed down as cleanly as that, I mean, something must be up. They needed that to get to start it back up again, to come back into this game.
And now you've basically got 2 incendiaries across your entire team on Inferno. The map is literally called Inferno. Okay, you need fire for it. They have to get so aggressive on one side or the other to try and make up for that. And the thing is, AVE are going to be expecting that. You can see how defensively they're playing early into it. They're not going up mid. They're not going in to try and contest for brackets early. JO's been tagged down. That's a grenade, if I'm not wrong, doing most of the heavy lifting.
At some point or another, especially if this clock grinds down, expect JO to be the one that investigates. I don't think they're going to be making heavy rotations. Nade sails in, does some extra damage to JO, so if he wasn't already disenfranchised enough, now he's on 30 HP. Here comes that exec over towards the A site. Look at the IDIS balance rotation. Tries to get away from things, but he's cut off. Smokes are down, and they have access to the arches.
They are so well prepared for the rotation of the Opera to come through. They know he's not playing from inside the bomb site. Now Lollipop has to put up a show from pit. IDIS balance, meanwhile, moves back out. He's got 1, but not 2. Poria too quick on the trade. IDIS balance couldn't get in position, and Lollipop couldn't swing out. But now he's finally coming to play. Activated on the A bomb site. They need to bring him down, but they're good. Only for the trade. Waterfalls all alone. Bomb can be planted. They're coming up short. They will not be peeking him yet. They'd rather play for the after plant. And Waterfalls, he's barely been missed out on the timing. Box should catch him out. Because of this, he's played it perfectly. But Lollipop is the one who gives them a chance there.
Man, what a champ. He gets those 2 kills as they're trying to wrap in. And as they drop on him, the quick reactions to turn on that 3rd player. That's what gives them that room. That's what forces it into this 1vx. You couldn't have asked for more here from Lollipop. Everyone else falling around him. And then just a snapshot. I mean, that's a headshot and then the follow-up as well. we might have seen just the dink and a failure, but Lollipop goes the extra distance. And so they're still alive. They're still in this. 2 more rounds to grind away to force an overtime, and they have buys for days here on AVE. One more utility now for Nemiga, though, as a result of keeping those 2 players up.
Balance also is really wanting to get a pick down mid, but they simply didn't want to chance it. Now, after what seems like the really forever, there's a lot more focus over here on this B bomb side. I would love to see that flash that Box is holding being deployed right now, but there could just be caught out. He's good only for 1 Warrior trade. The flash will keep them away for a while, but there's no secondary peek to come through, so advantage. So very much in the court of the terrorist side, and they're trying to force out these utilities. Sugar, however, is pushed through. He's got another fantastic kill. The Molotov gets him from beyond the grave, but Idis Balance is the one who finds Poria. And now still on the bomb side. Bomb has been lost for the T side. CTs will start to rotate through. Lair's got himself a lot of offensive utility as well. So this is a very doable retake. But Raijin is considering even backing off towards that A bomb site. It's a possibility for sure, but Idis Balance, he's just coming through. A grenade, an incendiary, all of that is ready to be deployed the second they start to plant. That incendiary has been deployed early, so they can't flush the players out from the back of the bomb site.
They have a smoke if needed as well, so they can throw that one down. Waterfall's just posted on the angle, seeing if Nemiga investigate. They have Lollipop not too far away from this A site, so they'd hear if there was something up, but another smoke being thrown over at B. This should start to prompt Lollipop over the top of the bomb as well, but they're not moving here on the side of Nemiga just yet.
They don't want to take that peek. Waterfalls is waiting for them to start coming out, but again, so defensive from Idis Balance.
Oh, such an opportunity, but Waterfalls compensates. There's that secondary attempt. Now it's Raijin 1-on-2, and they have no idea where he is.
Raijin, he's got to get this last one playing around the pillar, but he's managed to whiff the spray. Raijin had played it perfectly. It looked like AVE should have been able to clean it out, but Lear at the end of it all still comes out on top. AVE are fumbling. They are potentially dropping the advantage they had. Raijin, look at how clean that first one was, but again, just around the pillar and the sprays all over the place.
Yeah, he couldn't quite believe the opportunity that he had. If he'd just thrown in a bit of trigger discipline, they were so adamant that he was somewhere over towards Banana, only for him to be right next to them. That's gonna feel like a huge kick in the teeth here for a massive chance to bring it over the line, and now Nemiga are threatening that overtime.
Idis Balance missing out on timing. That could have been a perfect, easy shot to start things off initially down second mid. He was wanting to go for it, but AVE's players just didn't have the best possible spawn. I think it was the 3rd best spawn because it was about a 1.5 seconds delayed to it. Double flash down mid will give them bracket control, but Idis Balance is here early. This time you can't smoke him off.
And they've been doing such a good job of constantly flashing where that AWP has been, but this time not to be the case. That Molotov will keep them busy as well in the arches. So they're a man down, and it's not as though Nemiga are too scared about what's coming. This crossfire in the site, there's too many CTs to deal with.
They're considering wrapping around back to B. It's certainly a possibility for them. Waterfalls has to be careful that Lollipop doesn't just pop him out. With 3 players inside arches, the CTs know that actually getting aggressive to get information might be a death sentence for one of them, but it might be better to have the death of one rather than that of many. Raijin's got himself a Molotov as well. Long range with the M4A1, but traded out Poria to take down Box, and now the rotations will come through, but Jail's position means he has to hit every single shot, and he's doing just that. Waterfalls all alone. The smoke on the ground. Waterfalls has to recover the bomb as well. Has a chance with it now that he's got that second shot. The fumbled jump takes away some of the time, and Lollipop will shut him down because of it. Nemiga will take it to overtime. And what a way to do it. AVE simply can't close it out in regulation.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that they were able to grind things back even if things went wrong, but it's overtime. Nemiga do bring us back into this, which means we'll have to go to a break to find out how that all plays out.
Unable to close it out, AVE have found themselves at the feet of overtime. And overtime with $10,000. That's all you've got to spend. Michael Yumi Cassidy on the microphone with me on Tea Time. And we're guiding you through the action. Molotov drop straight down. You love to see it.
Yeah, the utility cycling will see a bit more play now that money's less of a factor, but yeah, that 10k could potentially come back to bite these players, especially with the double up coming in from Nemiga. A lot of early presence over towards the apartments as well being placed from them, where Nemiga have typically kind of been sitting back. Regulation, nah, that's all put behind us. Like in the very different approach, the elevation for Idis Balance as well, doubled up with Lollipop. Could be a recipe for success. AVE are in the apartments, but not in a place that can be contested. We saw some great stuff from Jo on the secondary ult as well on that B-bomb site, so no surprises that they're trusting him to lock things down in that direction.
Idis Balance is in such a tricky position, but Lollipop makes it so much easier for him. What? He just pushes forward. Idis Balance is even good for one, but while he's dropping down, Lollipop is the one to trade again. How is he still alive? How?
Lollipop is just in another world sometimes. Those 2 kills at the start, I mean, that makes things so much easier for Idis Balance because not only is he getting flashed up, by the time that Idis Balance recovers, there's a player right in front of him. He's like, oh, you know, yeah, I'll take this one. And his fall from grace is heavy, but only Lollipop can save the rest of the round. AVE get nothing really accomplished, where they've been able to get away with taking brackets control relatively safe throughout regulation. Now Nemiga have changed their tone. Oh. Look at the peak and the confidence from Idis Balance. Where was that in regulation?
I mean, he tried to go for it once, but he just phased off a little bit too early. This time the timing works out as well. Nemiga, they put him in overtime, you know they're going to take it. At least that's what they're thinking. And you'll love to see that confidence coming out from them. Let's not forget, you win another one of these rounds, and T-side will be a little bit worse for wear monetarily. Jo waiting for the peak to come through. Raijin is gone. The secondary op next to follow in. You don't need Lollipop to be, you know, a specter of insanity, death, and dismay. If you can just get your op shots in.
Feels like we're entering that. We're facing Nemiga factor. You know, they made that comeback where required, even though AVE got up to 15 first. Nemiga riding high off of that confidence, even when things in the situation did look dire. Losing rounds of that feels like they never really had a chance to win it because of circumstances.
Indeed.
Won't dwell on it too heavily.
God, man, AVE are going to be kicking themselves. Remember, they basically had the win in the palm of their hand every single time. Nemiga find an entry every single time something goes wrong. They're going to be in their own heads. And Box, he's waiting for the push to come through. A flashbang means he's been forced off. A second flashbang means Jo can peek out again. A player all the way over to Hobbit. Jo's being forced out. He doesn't have the opportunity to back off, but he still gets another in the meanwhile. What's that?
He's been exceptional.
Yeah. Give him a secondary op earlier on, please.
Yeah, hasn't always been hitting the craziest shots. That's probably the hardest flick he's hit so far in this AWP. But he has just been a really hard person to flush out of position because he's playing some of these angles that are actually more traditionally for some riflers. And he's just playing it safe. I mean, he peeks out where he needs to, gets those opening kills, and then knows to prioritize time where he has to. He's been playing it so smart on the secondary AWP. Some of the kills look just effortless.
Oh, that grenade is beautiful. But Sviat has actually dodged it out. Sviat, of course, one of the players who was really tearing it up on the AVE side. Hasn't performed the same way these past few. But waterfalls and box trade out, and Sviat will find Jo as well. Maybe that's the opening they were looking for, to have the B bomb site underneath control. Rotations coming out. Disbalance will be able to keep them away long enough to get into a slightly better position with the AWP, but without a smoke, he can't really work around this one. A flashbang over, but he can't push through.
Yeah, Molly deep construction as well. Disbalance taking some tag damage as a result of that. So with this man advantage, they can feel a little safer going for this. They're holding for the boost as well, so that's accounted for here for AVE. They may just salvage the one round needed here on this T side.
Oh, well, yes, but Lear is now last one. A bit slow in the rotate to come through, of course, but it is now 3 players he's got to deal with. 2 have been found. AVE, they're not in the clear just yet. Lear is inching past, but time is ticking down, and he doesn't really have it anymore. They just have to wait for him. There's no way for him to win out this round unless he just sticks it and it works out for him. Lear might be able to do it, but waterfalls coming in from the backside will not let it be. Nemiga still finding themselves a comfortable 17.
Start sitting on top of it and spinning and just hoping for a moment, you know, nice and slow on the turn cycle.
Maybe I can hypnotize them.
Yeah.
Wait, I am not defusing the bomb. I am not defusing the bomb.
You don't need to check the site. But yeah, getting that one round is going to be a huge sigh of relief, especially when they were able to get themselves into prime position to win in regulation. It's not a clean 3-0 from the Nemiga CT. Now we swap. AVE, of course, were kind of impressing us with how well they're using utility, especially towards B. So we'll see if Nemiga change their tone so much quicker over towards the A side of action. Box tried to close in on that distance, but so many Molotovs already prompted out from AVE. They've one molly left, and it's been 30 seconds.
AVE were cycling a lot of utility as well, so maybe there's something about that to come into play. I have to wait to see. Maybe, mayhaps, perhaps. I don't know. A utility being used up, but not really finding anything early in. Spiat, of course, was on the B-bomb side, consistently having opportunities given to him to take and very often win duels.
I think Sviat's acted as a deterrent towards this B site. He was such a nuisance. Anytime they went for executes, he'd come away with these 2 kills.
And this would be the perfect time to hit the A-bomb site. You get to avoid Sviat, and you get to find the site with 2 players on it. Only Lear wants to go for the entry in. That's why he's chucked away the smoke already. Sugar Watching and waiting for anyone to come through. Poria as well, just expecting the Archer's wrap to come forward. 30 seconds on the clock. Layers making his way through. Sugar, Molotov to the back. Won't really matter. He's lined them all up. Sugar gets it done, and he's given them what should be the equalizer. IDE's balance needs to be a hero of heroes, a man amongst men. But with 15 seconds and the clock running out, IDE's balance. Really everything to contribute over here other than just one stray frag to add to his stats. Sugar, man, what a triple.
Yeah, the smoke doesn't actually deter this Molotov from being deployed, but the perfect lineup. He gets flashed. You can barely see a damn thing around this smoke as well. But all of these headshots on headshots.
Oh, he even got flashed before he started shooting. That's insane.
Yeah. Wow. Just when you think that the Nemiga collapse on that A site is going to look advantageous, you know, they're going towards the weaker of the stacked sites. Then Sugar comes out with that. That is damn tasty.
Nom nom nom.
Oh, there's those double nades that we know they love to go for. Now they run back to recover more.
I feel like this is not going to work as people get a bit more used to it, though. You know, you're just going to eventually be cut off on those timings as you're going back if you're trucking out the utility early in as well.
Yeah.
But I have to wait to see how it develops, obviously. Metagame's still very much in the folly of youth right now. The colors of spring.
It's what makes it so hard to read, though, is that, you know, you can always fake that. If you're constantly rotating back and forth, and if they know you like to go for that timing, they could just not run back for the nades sometimes.
I feel like it might just be worth it to have like a player sit in spawn and take the time to shoot them over to like
minimize the
BCT. Yeah, just to minimize the travel time all the way back to spawn. Because one player being late doesn't matter that much on Inferno. You can still do a lot of supportive utility and whatnot. So.
Well, still 3B here for AVE, even in spite of the fact that they've been using a lot of utility that direction. Nemiga are set on going towards this site, and they need to go quickly. 20 seconds.
Rajan's going to be the hidden man, and as the player peeks out, the bomb's been dropped as well. Awkward position for it to be. Sviat is right behind Rajan, and he's setting up for the crossfire. He's got one, got two, not quite three. JO's recovered, but can the bomb be planted? Yes, it can. The two players are coming in from CT spawn. They've got all the HP in the world. Something I can't quite say the same about Nemiga. Nemiga have to come through with these straight headshots. JO's got the ops, so maybe that can be a bit more useful in that regards, but they are counting their lucky stars that there's no more grenades. JO finds the first. Boria's down. Sugar again has to step up to prevent Nemiga from finding match point, but he's not able to adjust. Box has got it.
And it's Box and JO. These guys, especially on this crossfire, thought it was going to be such a hard task there to break this down. And Sviat almost holds true to this. You can see all that damage done, but one more bullet was needed to be well placed to have a man advantage. JO's just been so sharp on that AWP. I mean, every time we see him with it, especially when he's in an after plan, if he's holding that B bomb site, he looks so comfortable. And now AVE have to be sweating. They had this game. It felt like they did.
Like, go where it needs to. Box, though, knows exactly where he needs to go. He's got the second as well. A headshot won't matter. Now, Raging. Incendiary to stop them, but also reveals his position while doing so. So they know there's only one more player on that B bomb site. Even going back to A would make some sense right now, to be honest. Waterfalls trying to come through, but with the AWP rotating over is so difficult when there's utility. Raging. Good for the first. Incendiary can force him forward or back, but Waterfalls is the one pushing through. Good for one. Drops the bomb as well. Buys a lot of time, but he misses the second opportunity. Lollipop even has a luxury of a reload, and Rajan bought it out as he's backing off, waiting for Sugar to come through. AVE have always been slow to get that last man to rotate, and Sugar might be suffering because of it. Low players, though, and Sugar's found Box. Now, Rajan.
His balance is so low, and he's gonna get smoked off as well, so it has to be Lollipop.
Lollipop. Oh, but he's always able to deliver, Michael. He's always able to deliver. Rajan, they're trying to stick it, won't be able to. Nemiga have made the comeback in overtime. They